everybody. Welcome to Sarah's Table. I'm Sarah Moore. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to be your tour guide on this delightful boat trip that we are about to take today. We are going to be playing Desperation by Jason Morningstar. As a warning, this is probably going to be a little bit more bleak than what we normally do here on Sarah's Table. I promise that there will still be moments of joyful gaming and we're still going to have like a delightful time. However, this subject matter is a little bit darker than what we normally do. So if that is uncomfortable for you, then you should definitely find a different show. Today's safety discussion, which I think is very important as a responsible gamer, GM, player at a table. You want to know where everybody's lines and veils are. You want everyone to be comfortable. So we are avoiding sexual violence, violence against children, all of your major phobia, like no transphobia, no homophobia, anything of that nature. But there is a very strong possibility that there will be regular violence and there will be probably death and or murder in this particular game. So put those hats on, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we should probably have murder hats. And yet
let's do.
If you do,
sounds like a great idea.
If you have your murder hat, put your murder hat on.
It's not handy.
Is it not around?
I keep it in the closet.
Metaphorical murder hat. Please put that on. Maybe it's more of like a crown, like a tiara situation.
The murder crown. Now this is getting real heavy.
I like it. Well, I mean, heavy is the head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's doing the murdering.
It's a lot. It's a lot to do. This game, Desperation, is published under Bully Pulpit. Yes?
Bully Pulpit Games. Yep.
And it is currently crowdfunding, and we are going to give you all of that information at the end. So you have to watch the whole thing, but also there will be a link in the chat. So you should go look at that right now. Let's go around the table and have everybody introduce themselves. I'm going to start down at the bottom of my screen, which is probably not the bottom of the screen that you were looking at. I like to be confusing. Noir, it's you.
Hey, that's me. I'm Noir. I go by he, they. I'm super excited to play this game. We interviewed Jason about it, and I'm just ready to jump on in. So yeah, that's me.
Cool. Where would we might have seen you before, Noir?
I'm on a show on like a little channel you might have seen, JCon TV. I do table takes with my friend Peter here, as well as Javion and you as well. When you're guesting, and of course Bonsai. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Always there.
He lives there, as a matter of fact.
They never let him leave.
They don't let you leave. Peter, what about you? Where can we find you? Who are you?
Hi, I'm Peter Adkison. I'm affiliated with Gen Con and Chaldea and Actoroki. I'm personally on social media only on Facebook as Peter Adkison, but indirectly at World of Chaldea. This is where most of my work gets tagged. And happy to work with this Sarah Moore gal on all sorts of Actoroki stuff, and happy to work with this Noir guy on table takes, because I'm also on table takes.
Yeah. Just like, you're like the linchpin, Peter.
Right.
Bringing us all together. And Jason, introduce yourself.
So I'm Jason Morningstar. I'm the creative director at Bully Pulpit Games. I'm a game designer, and we're playing my game tonight. So this is the Desperation engine, and the particular experience we're going to have is called the Isabel. You can find me online at JMStar or at Bully Pulpit _HQ. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be playing with Jason.
It's going to be so good.
Jason
I love to
is
play
my
with you, Peter.
favorite person to RPG with.
It's going to be so good. As I mentioned before, this is a little bit of a boat ride. It's less Gilligan's Island and maybe more Titanic. So let's see what happens.
So be like one of the French girls.
Right. Maybe later. We don't know. Also, this is a diceless RPG. It is led by card playing, correct?
Yes, there are no dice. It's all cards. It's a deck of cards that we will reveal in sequence to determine what happens and how. Yes, I'm happy to walk us through that procedure.
Yes, please. Let's get started.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Actually, before we start, in addition to our safety talk, I just want to talk about tone for a second to make sure that we're all kind of calibrated and on the same page. So that you could play this game absolutely seriously, and then it's going to be real bleak. You can also play it with welcoming a little bit of humor, gallows humor, and relief in that way. And if you choose to play it in the first way, if one player is playing it in the second way, it's not as fun.
Oh, sure.
Right. So I just want to get us all on the same page. I'm happy with either mode. If you are all up for a sort of a very compelling, play it absolutely straight experience, we can do that. But if you want to have the tone be allowed to go a little bit lighter to release some of the tension, that is totally okay too. And I would like you all to tell me which you would prefer.
How are we feeling?
I mean, I'm down to play it straight.
Yeah, I mean, how often do we get to play it straight? Right?
That's fair. Yeah.
All right. Are you okay with that, Sarah?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So what that means is that we will kind of check ourselves and each other on tone, because there will be times when you want to tell jokes.
Because you're looking to relieve that tension a little bit.
Exactly, right. And we can either lean into that and really relish that tension, or we can decide when it starts to appear, maybe we do want to play it the other way, and that's fine too. Okay. But we're going to try to take it seriously. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You all good with that? Okay. So the Desperation, the Isabel takes place on a cod schooner in Alaska in 1888, and we are the crew and passengers on this ship. And that's really all we need to know to get started. If you look at the Roll20 desktop, which we all can see, right? Everybody's looking at it? Great. Mm-hmm. You can see that there are already some cards on the desktop. And these are they're like a map. These are all the locations that we're going to find in the game. So there's 4 cards that show the ship itself, the Isabel, which has a bow, a foredeck, cabins, and a boat deck. And then there are 4 dories stacked up on the back. A dory is a small fishing boat, dory 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there are a couple other locations off to the side that we're not going to mess with yet, because we're never going to see them. It's fine. Don't worry about those places. So the way that this game is structured, imagine that there is a single deck of cards that's on the table. And if we were playing face-to-face, we would be drawing from that deck one card after the other. And they're sort of randomized, but they're in a sequence. And the sequence begins with the locations, which are already laid out, and then the people, which we will put in those locations, and then a story starts to develop over time. So what we're going to do before we introduce our cast of characters is learn about this ship. And to do that, we're going to do what we're going to do throughout this game, which is to look at these cards. So I'll go first, and then we'll just take turns. I've got the bow card here, and I'm going to enlarge it a little bit so that we can see it. And then I'm going to right-click on it and flip card. And on the back, there's some text, which I'm going to read out loud. These are the berths where the mates sleep in cupboard-like rooms, and it is hammocks for everyone else. The various lockers, chain, sail, forepeak, are wedged in wherever there is room. The cook, Lestenkov, prepares meals here, which are consumed with gratitude or trepidation. And then there's an instruction at the bottom. It says, put this card at the bow of the Isabel next to the foredeck. So I'm going to flip it around again. I'm going to make it small and just put it back where it was. So somebody read the foredeck card for us.
I vote Peter.
Okay.
And will this be kind of a standard order then?
Yeah, I think typically we'll just kind of take turns. So that's great. Peter's.
So I go after Jason. Okay, good. Okay, well, I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to see if I can do what you said. Flip card.
There you go.
And I think I'll make it bigger. This is the foredeck, dominated by the hatch over the ship's hold. currently stuffed to bursting with salted cod. This is where the business of sailing is done. Okay, I guess I should flip it again and make it small again and put it back over there. Okay.
Gonna guess that makes it my turn for
I think
cabins.
so, yeah.
Yes.
Let's find out about cabins.
All right, so let's go ahead and make it bigger. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna flip card. These cabins for the master and his passengers are compact, tidy, and save for the permanent and unavoidable smell of fish that permeates every corner of the Isabel. Quite pleasant. Put this card between the boat deck and the foredeck. Let's go ahead and flip this back. Return it to its original size. There you go.
Let's see if I can figure out how to make it bigger. Nope, it's just moving it around. Why won't you be bigger?
If you just click on it, you'll get a blue square.
Yeah.
And then if you drag a corner, it should get bigger.
Oh, it won't let me drag a corner.
I'm going to help you.
Yeah, make me bigger.
There you go.
Did it.
I can figure out how to flip it though.
There
Good
we
job.
go.
This is the boat deck, an open area at the rear of the Isabel where the business of fishing is done. The dories are stacked like pancakes, upended on the taffrail here. Looking forward past the wheelhouse, there's a magnificent view of the spread of 2 gaff-rigged sails. Put this card at the rear of the Isabel next to the cabins. And we flip it back over.
I'll make it small for you.
Appreciate
There we
it.
go. All right. And that's the locations that we have to work with right now. We've got those dories in the back, and they'll become important later. And those other places we don't need to worry about, but that's our ship. That's all the universe of these characters. And so what we're going to do now is actually meet the crew and passengers. So if you look to the side, you'll see there's a deck of cards there with people people on them. And what we're going to do is drag them out one at a time and meet these folks. So I just dragged out Gordon. We're going to make him bigger. All this art is by Brennan Reese, by the way, and I just
this
love
art
it.
is beautiful.
It's
Just
super
love
cool.
it. Okay, here's Gordon. The universal truth of human nature is that we are all craven, mendacious fools, so it is best not to form too strong an attachment in close quarters. I will keep my peace and drink my whiskey. I am competent, but perpetually drunk. When from now on, when you get a card, read it to yourself, and then you read it out loud. And then do whatever it says. In this case, it says, put the card next to the bow and speak Gordon's truth. Now that can mean whatever you want it to mean. It might mean that you just want to read Gordon's card, or it might mean that you want to adopt Gordon's character for a minute and have a little monologue, which I think is what I'm going to do. So Gordon is clearly, he's perpetually drunk, but he's a really good sailor. And I think that that combination makes him intensely off-putting, that people associate him with being a little like unpredictable and just kind of unpleasant because of that. And he's sort of a curmudgeon. But man, if you need someone to climb the rigging to fix a broken gaff rig or whatever sailing thing it is, Gordon's your man. And even when he's drunk as a lord, he's just nimble on the rigging and really, really good at his job. But that doesn't make anybody like him. So that's Gordon. So Peter, will you draw the next person?
Okay, so whoops, bring him out here. And whoops. Okay, so you said what you recommended that I read.
Yeah, just take a moment and read the back to yourself. This is more important when things start happening, because when events are happening, you'll want to read it, and then you have to decide who the event refers to.
Okay.
And for these characters, maybe you just want to kind of think about how you're going to present them.
Okay. put this card next to the cabin's card.
And you're going to read it out loud.
Okay. No. Okay. So I read it to myself and then read it out loud.
Yeah. Or however you want to work it. That's what works for me. Is to read it once and then read it out loud.
Well, I think to prevent. Yeah. Okay. So David Towns, my wife, Lilith, is a genius who positively burns with the light of the Lord. It is my role in this life to assist her in her ministry. I myself am nothing, but Lilith has been guided by the hand of God, and I will in every way ease her path, even if it takes us to the frightful backwaters of Alaska. I am clever, but demanding.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, David Towns doesn't seem like a demanding person, but clearly he is. I wonder what that's about.
It's probably tied to his religion.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be pretty full of the Lord and eager to make sure everyone else is too.
Oh man, and that's probably not super popular on a cod fishing boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too popular on a cod. Yeah. But
as we meet some of these other people, we'll see how that would be maybe a problem.
But he's but his wife is must be here too.
She definitely is. We'll meet Lilith in a minute.
Oh, I forgot where it said to go.
In the cabins. I think it goes in the cabins.
Okay, so probably need to make these smaller so they'll have room.
There you go. That's perfect.
We don't want to cover up the Isabel though, do we?
As long as they're sort of
nearish.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Looks like I'm pulling up Brown. What's up, my guy? Look at the swag on him. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look. All right. As second mate, it falls to me to manage the business affairs of this accursed scow, and our business is fish. So I do the same work of all the others, and I count cod tongues and keep a tidy receipt. I am fair, but harsh. Put this card next to the foredeck card and speak Brown's truth. I think, let me put him next to the foredeck. I think that Brown is responsible, but understands the severity or the tediousness and severity of his profession. I think that he understands that the boat is no place for levity. It is a place to get the job done, and the faster the job gets done, the faster we can go about the business of pleasure wherever it is outside of the boat. So I think that he's a real taskmaster on the boat because he understands that if he wants to do things that pleases him, he needs to get to land.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's check out Portugal, right? Or did he disappear? Put him in the back? What happened to you?
No, he's right here. I got him. There you go.
Oh, good.
I was like, what happened to him? I pulled him out.
Here, let me make him a little bit bigger for you.
Flip that card. All right.
Macabalang.
Thank you.
That's a cool name.
My name is Ernesto Bautista Macabalang, and I am not Portuguese, but I'm also not a man who catalogs his indignities. I've been on the Isabel since she was christened, and she has been sadly neglected of late, and I think this will be my last jaunt aboard the old girl. I'm experienced, but fragile. Put this card next to the bow card and speak Portugal's truth. I think Portugal is kind of over everybody's shit. Like, I think he's that old timer that has seen all the things, and he knows, how things are supposed to go on a ship, and he doesn't want to deal with other people's newfangled ideas. He's just kind of done with everything.
That's so good. Hey, here comes Lilas. Are we all ready for Lila's Towns? Lila's is pretty intense.
I bet.
I have been called to this work to bring the teachings of Jesus to those who toil in this forbidding wilderness, and my husband David will build my church in Sand Point on Popoff Island among the Aleuts and the Russians and the fishermen. I am passionate but presumptuous. I think that Lilas lives in a delusional world. I think that she has a little bit of a standoffishness from the crew of the ship. She doesn't interact with them. She does it through the intermediary of her husband. And in turn, David lies to her about them. So she thinks this is a crew of God-fearing religious men who are upright and do not sin. And I think that she presumes that, and because that's what her husband tells her, because that is what she needs to hear.
It's going to be a very interesting relationship between the two of them.
Yeah, because it's clear he adores her, right? Yeah.
But in like a creepy way.
It's true.
Okay, Ann Nickerson. The deal, The deal I made with my mother was that she could send me to whatever blue stocking finishing school she wanted if I could spend the summer aboard the Isabel with my father. She agreed and chose Miss Brackett's school in New York City, which I shall hate. I am enthusiastic but sheltered. Anne is clearly something of a tomboy, perhaps, not really wanting to grow up in the traditional way that is expected of a young girl, and feels much more at home on a boat than in a room full of other girls who are all care a lot about what they're wearing and when they're going to be presented to society and this sort of thing. And she is resigned to her fate, but is going to make the most of this particular outing.
Can I ask a question of the table? One of our boundaries is going to be violence against children, and Anne is technically a child. So I want to just clarify how we're going to handle that when things come up. Can bad things happen to Anne if someone else isn't the instigator of them?
Yeah, I think so. I think visiting violence on her, like it would be the boundary, right? So like another character like physically attacking her is something that we would like to avoid.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
Personally, I don't mind if she's in danger. I just, one of my boundaries is I don't want her to be in danger because she's a child. So,
right. No, that's a very good distinction. Yeah. I feel the same way. Okay, I just wanted to sort of clarify that because of the way this game is going to go. There'll be opportunities for all kinds of terrible things to happen.
Sure.
Good.
Right. It's time to meet the captain. So, look at that pipe. Hold on. There we go. Captain Nickerson, I am master of the Isabel and make my money when we are a happy crew and heavy with fish. On this journey, against my better judgment, I've brought my daughter Anne. She wanted to see the world, and this is my part of it. And the fresh air at least will do her good. I am calm but troubled. Put this card next to the cabin's card and speak Nickerson's truth. I think Nickerson has been a captain so long that is his personality. That is who he is. He can never let it show when he's troubled. And I think that there are a number of things that he has to be concerned about. Money, things are good when the ship is heavy with fish. We don't necessarily know how that particular part of it's playing out. He's got his daughter on this trip. That's a concern. even the maintenance of the ship is something that he has to worry about. I think that he has done this job for so long, so well, that he doesn't know how to express his emotions because it's his responsibility not to.
Oh, that's a nice touch. That's really great.
He has to always be the level-headed one.
Right.
Okay,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, maybe that alienates him from his daughter too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that the key thing that I picked up from this is that it's not maliciousness. It's all about doing the job right.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably gets along really well with Portugal and maybe even Gordon. They're like the quiet professionals.
Yeah.
I think that he's one of those people that can appear to get along with everybody because you'll never know if he doesn't really mess with you unless you're in danger to his crew.
Yeah.
That's good.
Interesting. Which means that he doesn't really form bonds then.
Yeah.
What's it doing?
Life being a captain.
All right. Drag to deal. Flip the card. Can someone help me by making that bigger?
I gotcha.
Thank you. Lestenkopf. Every morning, I am up at 3 baking bread, as much to mask the stench of bilge water and kerosene as to feed the crew and passengers. I hate cod, but I love my job, and I love men. I am cheerful, but manipulative. Put this card next to the bow card and speak Lestenkopf's truth. I think Lestenkopf. Let's flip him back over and look at him. I think Lestenkopf never really fit anywhere else. He said he hates cod. He probably hates the smell of fish. He doesn't really like being at sea, but this is what he has found that he's good at and he's comfortable doing. He can sort of take care of the people around him and he enjoys the company of the men at sea, but he doesn't want to be a sailor.
Oh no. What a terrible life. Oh
yeah, but this is where he's found that he fits.
Yep, and they need him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, I'm going to drag out Holmes here. Oh, Holmes. Okay, there's Holmes.
Truly, these illustrations are so great.
They're so good. Holmes. I'm a simpleton, but my heart is as sweet as candy, and I'm glad to work hard among friends. For those who laugh at my infirmity, let God judge them. I'm likable, but careless.
Oh.
Holmes is not all there, but he does his best. He works hard. I think that how you treat Holmes is a real litmus test of what kind of person you are.
Mm-hmm.
So Gordon is always got a boot in Holmes's ass. David Towns avoids him. Ann Nickerson probably loves him. Lestenkopf gives him little treats all the time. And the captain keeps sort of a paternal eye on him. So Holmes is doing his best and it can be relied on in a pinch. And that's more than you can say about most of the people on this ship.
You put him by the boat deck, isn't it? I thought it was
that's where he belongs.
Okay. Okay. Bringing out Harris. Harris is. I would be anywhere else if I had my druthers, but like the cogs in a wheel, I require the money this trip will bring to realize my further ambitions. Laugh if you must, but I wish to be an actor. So it's fish heads for me, 4 months aboard this leaky tub. I am ambitious, but cynical. But this makes me think that people might actually get decent pay for being on this boat for enduring the rigors of going up into cold waters and storms and all the things that can happen and how uncomfortable it is. But Harris actually sees this as a way to accomplish his dreams, which are not to be a fisher person, but to raise enough money so that the rest of the year he acts. The rest of the year he pursues his dream.
Do you think the rest of the crew knows that, or is it a secret?
Well, it's hard to imagine he would keep it a secret.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is the bow. Oh, the bow card. Okay. No, I think people know that he's an actor, just because he's, he probably tries to organize little, plays on the
performances.
Like that.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Talks about it at least.
And Merkuliev is next.
Yep. Again, I know we're beating the dead horse here, but this art is really so something good. Else. Merkuliev. I'm first mate and Alouette. The Shumagans are home to me, and I know them well. But I left on a ship once, and now I don't belong there anymore. Any more than I belong in San Francisco. I am steady but lonely. I think Merkuliev is. I mean, the fact that he's first mate shows that he works hard. He's capable of learning a task. But I do get the sense that Merkuliev is also somebody that chases wonder, and has done so to the point where they don't have a home or a people. Like I think to Merkuliev, his next obsession is more important than alienating the people with him currently. And so whatever it is that he is curious about or wants to attempt, I think that he's willing to chase that at the cost of any prior relationships that he has.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It sounds like he's burned some bridges,
Absolutely. I think it's a lot more than having left to go on the ship that burnt those bridges. I think that there may have been a genuine request for him not to do so. Yeah. But he got it in his mind that he wanted to do it, and he did it. And that's the kind of person that he is.
It doesn't seem like his burning of the bridges is like a malicious thing. It's just that he's not going to do what you want himself. Him to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. Kenneth.
I got you.
Card. Okay. Thank you. Kenneth, I have never been out of sight of land before, and it thrills me. Here I am, the son of a tar boiler on a grand schooner in Alaska. I am excitable, but unsophisticated. Put this card next to the 4-deck card and speak Kenneth's truth. Kenneth, to me, feels like Charlie Bucket. Like he is just so thrilled to be here and sees it as very glamorous and exciting, and is probably asking a lot of questions all the time to everyone around him. Just, I would imagine that people get pretty tired of Kenneth because he wants to just know, and what does this part do? And how does this part of your job work? And he's just like getting all in there. I think David Towns probably sees Kenneth as very moldable. And so I think he would take him under his wing and let me see if we can get you walking on the path that we want you to walk on.
That's so good.
I think that there's I think the rest of the crew sort of like, he is useful because if they don't want to do something that's a job that like kind of sucks on the ship, they can just be like, a real sailor does this. Here you go, Kenneth. And then he'd have to do it and does it without complaint because he's just so thrilled to be on this adventure. I don't know that will last for him.
No, that's going to get old fast.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually he'll learn, right? And that's going to there'll be a reckoning then.
Yeah.
Well, so this is our cast of characters. This is all the people on that ship. And I love the stories we've already sort of suggested about these people. And you can see that there's some tension and some relationships that might form among them. And that's really what the game's going to be about. So the next thing that happens is that we actually begin the story of these people and this ship. And it's divided into 3 sections. And the first section is called A Whole Gale. And I'm going to draw the first whole gale card and show you how this works. So here's my whole gale card. I'm going to flip it over. And it's got some text on it. And then it's going to say something at the bottom. Sometimes it'll give you a very specific instruction, and sometimes it will just say, speak your truth. The important thing here, though, is that it doesn't tell you who says this. So the absolute meat and bones of this game is deciding who is saying what's on these cards. So I'm going to read this to myself, decide who it is, and then I'll read it as that person and speak their truth. Okay. This is Gordon. Better days. I sailed with old Captain Turner aboard the Porpoise when these fisheries were a novelty 20 years ago. We took 36,000 fish in 2 weeks. Of course, now I'm among a less grand class of people, weak and timid people who go pale at a little weather. This ship is sound. I'm not going to wet myself over some rough seas. Gordon doesn't, he is a true sailor. He is a blue water sailor who is not afraid of anything. And I think he is also a little naive. So I'm just going to, I'm going to put this, I'm going to put this underneath the person that I chose. This goes underneath Gordon. And I'm going to send it to the back. Okay. So that's Gordon thinking everything's fine and that everybody's just weak.
Okay, so I'm following suit, right?
Yep.
Okay, this is a speak your truth, okay? You just never know with people. You just never know with people. I made a lifelong friend before the Isabel and had cleared the Farallons, and we remain inseparable despite our obvious differences. On a ship like this, it is good to have a friend. I try to be a good one. I think that this belongs to, was it Harris who likes men?
Lesnikov specifically said he likes men.
Lesnikov, who loves men. I'm trying to find Lesnikov.
Lesnikov's under the bow and is our ship's cook.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, so so I think that he has, probably tragically with a man who is straight become,
perfect. Yeah.
Really good friends with that person, and longs for it to be more. But that's probably not in the cards.
Who is it? Tell us who.
Who's he being really good friends with? Well, I think that David Towns is very manipulative.
Nice.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so,
yeah,
David's just playing it. Yeah. There, now we've been under that time.
I wouldn't mind if it's all right with you all to leave that relationship a little bit ambiguous, right? Like, because maybe David Towns isn't as straight as we think David Towns is.
Yeah,
I'd like to leave that out there, just
that would track with that type of relationship he has with his wife.
Yep. All right. I have heard that the Isabel was unmasked in the Tempest back in '85, and her crew washed away, and the ghost ship was towed to port and repaired. I feel in my bones that she intends to wash us away too. There's death about her.
Oh,
Who is saying that?
You know what? I think that this is Lilith.
mm,
Oh God.
I
yeah.
feel like
Nice.
she is using that paranormal, that paranoia, that superstition to try and cow the rest of the crew to her cause.
That is wild. Love it.
So
Yeah.
then would it be more the devil's work than like a superstition? Then?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's just like this is a damned boat, and it is my heavenly light that keeps you all safe. So give me some of that extra fish.
Yikes. Just terrible people aboard here.
It's true.
Worse days. We are somewhere off, is it
Sheridan.
a Sheridan Point on Unga Island in this miserable gale, and the Isabel is taking on water. I was tasked with wrapping our bow in a sail to stem the flow, and that worked until we stopped making headway. Now the pumps cannot keep pace, and this ship is doomed. I think that is that Merkuliev is the first mate?
Yep.
I think that's him.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think he was doing his best to like just keep everything in stasis kind of and was having people assist. But also I think had a little bit of pride of like, I can do this better. You're not helping me. So I'll do it myself. And then the ship stopped moving and now it's just taking on water.
Do you think he's going to tell anybody?
No.
Okay.
I think he's trying to fix it.
Awesome.
Because he said, I could do it. I can fix it. I'm going to do it. And then refused help from other people. And now screwed up real big. And so he's not reaching out yet because he still thinks he can fix it.
Oh, that's great.
Probably not super great.
Yeah, perhaps I'm using the wrong term.
No, but I'm with you.
Okay. We got a dream. I'm trying to make this bigger. Oh, this is Holmes. A dream. I dreamed I was lost in the fog in a dory alone on the great ocean. I blew my tinny foghorn, but there was no reply. The sea was like glass and it was endless. I awoke in a considerable sweat, and to be perfectly honest, I'm glad we're in heavy weather. I'm spooked by those little boats. I think Holmes is just a little superstitious in a real elemental way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of his nature, and the people who are kind to him calm him down, but he needs to be calmed down because things are. I think maybe he's also very empathetic, and he catches Merkuliev's vibe a little bit, like he knows something is wrong, and then he had a bad dream.
It doesn't help that Lewis is also kind of feeding into that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
A lot.
Yep.
Okay, the cod business. You catch a fish, you cut out its tongue. That's as good as money. The master counts your tongues. You get $30 for every 1,000 codfish. The rest of cod you have caught. Form a line. The header lops off the head, and the spitter opens the fish. And the salter, well, salts it and throws it into the hold. Work together and keep your own tongues. Keep your own tongues. We had a character that was kind of matter of fact and one of the early ones. Maybe it's the captain.
The captain is Brown too. Is pretty serious and severe.
Brown.
So he was described as harsh, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go with we'll go with brown then for this. This is like, don't get distracted out at sea as to what we are here for and what we are doing and how this whole thing works, because it's serious business. Keep your shit together and do the job that you're assigned, and let's really not, we don't really need to talk about it more than that.
Yeah. I bet they're super like annoyed with Lilas.
The ones who are real serious about it sure are.
Yeah.
And someone had a question about the money. $30 for 1,000 fish. That's tons of money. They're making good money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point of interest. I don't want to cause panic, but the Isabel is a bad ship, poorly cared for and overloaded, and we will be very lucky if she makes port. The deadlights are secured and everyone will do their part, and yet I fear that the Isabel will slip away beneath us soon. To me, this is very clearly Captain Nickerson.
Oh, no.
I think Captain Nickerson is far more aware of the situation of his ship than he lets off.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Brought his daughter on knowing that the ship might not make it back.
Mistakes were made.
I don't know that he started this knowing it was bad. I think as they set sail, he kind of, oh crap.
It became clear as they were.
Mm-hmm, this is not good.
That makes a little more sense.
Yikes.
Yeah, certainly puts a lot of pressure on him.
Yep.
Good.
Why won't you let me draw you?
Because we're out.
Oh, because we're out.
No, there are no more cards.
Yep. That's why it's given us the command to shuffle, because the whole Gale deck has been used to roll 20.
Okay, great. That's fine. So everything's fine, right? The ship's still sailing. We've just got there's some bad vibes, but everything's okay.
I mean, we're on the verge of disaster, I think, in a couple of places.
Yeah. If you say so.
I think some of the right people know, so maybe there's hope.
Okay.
Yeah, but some of the right people aren't sharing that.
That is very true. All right. So the next card in the deck is called Abandoned Ship.
Oh.
So what I think I want to do, I'm new to this interface too, so we're going to experiment a little bit. We're not going to need any of these whole Gale cards anymore. So
okay, so
we can take them out and delete them. We're going to just take. It's good to keep them around during the act because you might want to refer to them again. But the whole Gale is now over, and we can move on to the next thing.
So what we could do, I hope you guys don't mind me helping with.
Oh no, I want you to help. Thank you.
All right, so we can, if we're done with the whole Gale deck, what I'll do here is I press the hide button, and you can see that it's gone.
Okay.
And I'll also do the same for people. Great. And instead, I'll bring up the abandoned ship and invokes. So I'll have us going 2 decks at a time.
Oh, great. Cool. Okay. Well, abandoned ship is a single card, so I'm just going to pull it out.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
So we have to shuffle it first.
Okay. I'm really glad that you were here to help with this.
Thank you, Noir.
Yeah.
Tech support, Noir.
That still won't let me. Can you get it on the desktop?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. First, we have to recall the abandoned ship card. So that's why, because it's on the table. So we're going to recall it. Already
and if not, I actually have the print deck with me when I can find the card that we need if necessary.
There we go. And it is on the table.
Awesome. Will you read that out loud to us?
Absolutely.
Because it's going to tell us to do some things.
All right. So, abandoned ship. Choose someone to lash themselves to the will to allow safe escape for the rest. Send them to the deep.
All right. It's important here that I note that when a card says send someone to the deep, that means that they're going to die, and we're going to consign them to the depths. So let's deal with that first before anything else. Who on this ship would do that?
My vote is I'm torn between Captain Nickerson and Brown.
Who's the one the one that was real old that was like, this is going to be my last journey? Is that Portugal?
Gordon or Portugal? Let's see. I don't remember. Let's turn him around and see. Portugal is, I think this is my last jaunt. Yep.
Yeah, I think I vote for Portugal. I think Portugal would maybe like Captain Nickerson would say, I should do it. I'm the captain. And Portugal would go, but you're here with your kid. I'm old. Let me do it.
Yeah, I like that too.
I can support that for sure.
Okay. Peter, do you have strong feelings about who's going to lash themselves to the wheel?
No, I'll roll with Portugal.
All right. So we know Portugal is not going to make it off this ship. So what else is on the abandoned ship card?
Remove the 4 Isabel ship cards and spread out the 4 Dory cards.
Okay. I will do that.
And then the last of the instructions are to divide the remaining survivors unevenly among the 4 Dories as they hastily abandon ship.
So we're going to do that before we read about these Dories.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're done with the abandoned ship card.
Yep.
Okay. So
and I'll
we
go
got
ahead and hide the deck as well.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so we've got all these people and they're all going to get in these boats, and the rule is that they can't have an even number of people in them.
Okay.
So it would be very easy to be like 4 people in this one, 4 people in these 2, and 2 people in these 2, and that's not allowed. They have to be uneven distributions. And we can do it randomly. We can put people who logically would be together in the same boats. There's no rule as to how they get divided.
Well, I think David and Lilas, the husband and wife, would probably go together.
Yeah,
but it would be very interesting if they weren't together.
Because it's chaotic, right?
It's chaotic, but okay, fair.
So, I mean, I agree with Peter in the sense that I don't see David not fighting his way
to be in the same one as Lilas.
Yeah.
Well, and then I think just to make it interesting, Listenkopf is probably in there with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, of course.
Yes.
And I'm just randomly putting him in Dory 3. They can go in any.
Yeah, no, that seems good.
Okay, because we're going to find out about these Dories a little more in a moment.
I think who's our sweet boy Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
I think is with the captain because I think that's where he feels safe.
Okay.
So he would go wherever the captain is going.
And I really like that you put them on Dory 4 because I'd imagine that they wouldn't get on a Dory until everybody else did. And with that logic, I think that Anne would be on Dory 1. I don't know who with. But
that captain would have put her on Dory 1.
Oh, he's putting her on with the first mate, right?
Yeah.
First mate's a good sailor. Gordon's a good sailor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's.
How about the other? Put like 4 of the others all on Dory 2 if you want it uneven, right?
Okay, just for. Okay, so Portugal's gone. Portugal is
gone. Yeah.
So some people have to move here. We need 4 people in one boat.
How about Gordon with Harris, Brown, and Kenneth?
Yeah, maybe Merkuliev and Anne are the only ones in the first one.
Yeah. So that's fine. That's a good distribution then. Let's find out about these boats, shall we?
Oh, no.
And we're going to resume the order with Peter telling us about Dory 1.
Okay. Here we go. Dory number 1.
Oh, not the cards.
What?
Not the cards yet.
Not cards?
Oh, you're going to flip over the Dory card up here.
Oh, I got the wrong one?
That's okay. Just you can leave that out for now.
Okay. I thought I did in boats. These Dory cards. I see what you mean. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Okay, this is okay. Dory 1 flip card. Okay, sorry. Oops, it's got away from me. Okay, this dory has a sprit sail rig, and can positively fly with the wind. Rigged for day fishing, it has no provisions or useful equipment.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay. But it's
Good stuff.
fast. It could keep up with whatever is happening.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Sure, it'll be fine.
Okay, that's Dory 1.
Oh, that's nice.
I figured it'd help us
Skull and
out.
crossbones. Yeah, that's good. I like Portugal. I'm sad that Portugal is gone.
I like Portugal too.
All right. So Noir, will you tell us about Dory 2?
Absolutely.
Crowded. It's a crowded boat.
It is, in fact, a crowded boat. Here's hoping there's some good news for all those people.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be great news.
Oh no.
The dory is in terrible repair and will immediately begin taking on water when battered by confused seas. It has no provisions, no sail, and one useless oar. It is a death trap.
Oh no.
Oh man.
That's bad.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yikes-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Yeah.
That's not good.
All right. Let's see about Dory 3, shall we?
I'm sure Dory 3 is great because
I feel like you're all lying to me. Okay, Dory 3. Oh, wait, maybe someone took good care of this dory. There's a butt full of fresh water and a tin of biscuits and a fishing line and 3 oars. It is squared away and could keep 2 people comfortable on a journey. Oh,
praise the Lord.
only 2 people comfortable on a journey.
You know, I hate that it's these people that got
they, I believe, would say that it is divine providence that they ended up in the one that worked, and not because they had scouted ahead just in case.
Yep. David Towns did his work.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to tell you all about Dory 4. Dory 4 is going to be fine. I'm going to bring it to the front. This old dory would be perfectly acceptable in fishing weather, but this is not fishing weather. When heavy seas pound her, she will lose her centerboard and become uncontrollable. Anyone on board will be at the mercy of the wind and the current. I'd say that's bad news for the captain and Holmes, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be fine. Okay, now, Peter, you're up, and go ahead and read the first of the in boats cards, which is discomfort.
Discomfort. Okay, so so the smallest things cause the blood to boil with rage. The body shifts, and there is a grumbling, and then an annoyed little kick, and then, despite my exhaustion and starvation, I am fully prepared to tear someone's throat out for their outrageous insolence. There's a moment's hesitation, and then I collapse. We will fight again.
Oh.
Ooh. So this is back to picking somebody who is...
tell us who said that and who they were angry at.
Well, and
it's got to be Dory 2, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, and they caught themselves though. They got really upset. It sounds like they got really upset on the inside, and rather than moment's hesitation, then I collapsed. Did they get in a fight and lose?
It sounds like they just started to act out and then caught themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
probably
I think
yelled at. I would imagine there was like words, but
isn't Kenneth the really?
He's the new one. He's the green bean.
I don't know about us. Yeah, and he's
most,
more even. He's more.
But he's like someone who would do the wrong thing.
Yeah. He
Well, and the trip isn't really turning out like he thought it would.
no.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this was his moment of crisis, at least the first one, where, this just has not been going to plan. And he's tried to keep up being a good mood all the time and be can do and really positive. And then he snapped or almost snapped.
Poor Kenneth.
Yeah, that's not like him. So people were probably like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Take a note. Kenneth's losing it.
Well, they probably were taking out all of their frustration on him
Right.
this whole time.
Right. Yep.
All right, so here we go. A survivor. And here's a rat, spiky with black grease and evil to look upon, that somehow survived the calamity and has made its way into my dory. I think we shall be friends. I do not need any more enemies. Speak your truth. I'm gonna give this to Holmes just because it's sweet.
Oh, it's like his rap friend.
Yeah.
I think he needs a little buddy right now. Yes, I want to give Anne a little buddy, but I want to give it to Holmes because Holmes needs it.
Feels right.
Yeah, it does.
So we're gonna flip that over. There you go, buddy.
All right. Let's see. The death roll. Okay. The vision is seared into my memory. The Isabel, heavy and low, in a death roll. She was broaching to windward on her beam ends, and then the sails met the water, then rose again heavy, counter-rolled. And that was it for the Isabel. It was a magnificent, terrible thing to see. I think this is Anne.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think that she went out looking for one last adventure before she had to be, stuck going and being a proper young lady. And she watched somebody die instead. And it changed her. And I think, not that she liked watching death, but I think it made her feel more alive. And I think it made her feel even further from what her mother wants for her.
Yeah, I bet she's thinking I can't, you don't go back from something like
No,
this.
I can't go pour someone's tea after I watched this ship go down.
Right. I watched Portugal die.
Yeah.
This is a guy she knew him.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. That's great. Okay. We're in boats. Oh, shit. Okay. Great.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. I'm falling like a shooting star now, but down through the depths, a weightless seraph. And I don't mind. Below me is the Great Alaskan Cod Bank. We took 1 million fish this year alone, more even, but they still form a solid, undulating silver wall below me. The cod part to let me pass on my journey to the abyss.
Oh.
So now this is the first time we've seen this. The card says, speak your truth and go to the deep. So this is a card where somebody drowns. They're going to die. And the person who's dying is Harris. I think Harris has poetry in his soul, and this feels very beautiful to me. And so in the moment, it's not terror. It's just an appreciation of beauty as he descends to his death.
Harris was the one that was going to be an actor.
Yep. So Harris goes to the deep with his card. Does that seem right to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And makes sense that it was from the most full boat. There would be, and the one that almost had a fight and
Yep. And I have to wonder whether Gordon and Brown didn't help.
There could have been some assistance over the side for sure.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, the final tattoo. Oh, this is also speak your truth and go to the deep. This has all been too much, and I am done in, exhausted, sodden, and cold. My heart is beating out its final tattoo. When I am gone, I hope I am treated with decency and gentleness. Ooh. Decency and gentleness.
This is somebody who's kind of frail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who was the frail character?
I mean, I have who I would think this is.
Go ahead. I could use some advice.
I think it's Listenkopf.
Yeah.
And the ship that he's with. I think Lelis is just taunting and pushing and pushing and pushing.
Well, and being in the boat with a person that he has romantic feelings toward, who is in this life or death situation.
I think that, I'm going to go with that. I think that in the harshness of the situation, David has lost patience with the game that he was playing with Listenkopf and starts to reveal his true nature. And all right. It
was either going to be Listenkopf for me or Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Listenkopf.
Yeah, Kenneth would have been good too. That's great though, because his heart's broken.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be a sailor.
Right. He didn't want to be on the sea to begin with.
Well, and the boat only holds two, so somebody had to go.
And also sort of sacrificing himself for the person he loves still. Yeah.
Rough.
Woof.
That's good. Love it.
Sorry to have to put the mark on you there, Listenkopf, but here you go.
Yep.
I liked him too.
Yeah, he was good.
Me too.
All right.
Oh man, we're losing folks. All right, here we go. In boats. I don't have to see anybody to the deep. My foot. In the chaos, a hog's head filled with salt broke free and crushed my foot. I didn't even notice. So desperate was our escape. Only now has it become obvious, and the dull pain seems to rise in pitch and intensity with each roll of this accursed dory. I will probably lose it. I kind of want to give this to either David or Lilith just because they're the ones that are in the ship with everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you could be on a cursed dory and screwed, or you could be on a dory with everything and still somehow
view it as being cursed.
Right.
They're both good candidates.
I know it's tough. But I'm going to embolden Lilith by having it happen to David.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That makes sense. He was so busy trying to get her off the ship. He didn't even notice he'd hurt himself.
Also contributes to why he was losing his patience with the...
Yep.
And he's going to end up having to get his foot cut off. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh man, this feels so cruel, but it's telling a really amazing story.
I'm sure this is the worst it's going to get.
Probably. Too soft a word. I share this little boat with the principal architect of my ruin, the person whose gross negligence and criminal greed have brought us to this crux. The Isabel was rotten, and I must rub oilskin in cramped quarters with the very source of the rot. Hate is too soft a word.
So many good choices.
There are a lot of good choices here. I'm going to give it to Lilas.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Lilas, I think, is only on the boat because wanted to get to the ultimate place where they were going, and this was the easiest way to do it. And I think there's a strained relationship with her husband. I think she knows that David had a thing going on with the ship's cook. And I think that there's a, like, she was so, like, hurt by it that she channeled that into, like, righteous indignation about how could he not love me the way I need him to love me. And so I think it's channeled in this crisis into hate.
Well, if she sees him as a hypocrite, then
yes,
that's one of the worst sins.
The worst thing you could do. Yeah.
I love that they ended up on a boat that is literally the best that they could get.
Yep.
But they're tearing each other apart.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
oh.
Good.
That's very satisfying. All right. The next card is 4 months and 3 days.
Oh, no.
Somebody's got a baby waiting for him. I think it's Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Anne's got a little brother or sister. 4 months and 3 days. That's how long we were supposed to be away from San Francisco. I have business there. Someone waiting for me with loving eyes. A baby will be waiting for me. 4 months and 3 days would be very welcome right now as the remorseless gray waves hint at eternity. The captain has everything to live for, and he's made the worst mistake of his life.
That's brutal.
Right? There's just no going back from this.
Mm-hmm.
He probably doesn't know where his daughter is at this point.
Yeah.
And
that is the last of our invoke cards.
Oh, nice.
No.
Okay. Well, happily, the next card is Landfall, and this is the trigger to take a bio break.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will be back in just a few minutes to see how I was going to say heroes, but I don't think any of them are heroes. So to see how our crew has survived. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Go grab yourself something to eat. Maybe some cod?
No cod.
No cod. No cod. It has been spoken. Welcome back, everybody. Normally, we would be probably doing some sort of ridiculous cartoon-inspired dance at this moment, but we are keeping it a little bit more serious and somber today on Sarah's Table, and we were trapped at sea, and we were just about to draw the card to tell us about how we made landfall. So let's make that happen. I would love for you to do that.
Yeah, please do.
I gotcha. Ashore at last. The survivors make landfall and are perfectly safe. Remove the 4 dory cards and replace them with 2 shore cards. Place the survivors on the beach or in the
Barabara.
As they might prefer. As they might prefer.
Okay, so we have the Barabara and we have the beach, and we should read about them as well.
Yeah.
Do we read about them before we place them?
Yeah. There's no real surprise here.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the shore at last.
See.
All right. So here's the beach. Would we like to start with that one?
Sounds good.
Okie dokie. So let's go ahead and make it large and pull it to the front. And we're gonna flip that bad boy.
Flip it.
The beach. A barren rocky strand demarked by stiff cliffs, the beach faces south into the vast Pacific. The cliffs funnel a stiff breeze at all hours, and there are few signs of life. Some wheeling gulls and limp ocean weeds, pure desolation. Make a tiny map with this card and the Barabara when landfall is met.
Whoa. That doesn't seem like a good beach to be on.
No,
It really
it's
does.
not the fun kind of beach. Sarah, will you tell us about the Barabara?
Sure. Flip card.
Oh, I'm going to make it big for you. Hold on.
Make it big for me. The Barabara. This is an old Aleut house dug into the earth, its roof long gone, save for lonely whalebone supports. A dory dragged overhead will serve to keep the rain out, and a driftwood fire will fight the chill. If it has any deficit, it is that it does not survey the ocean. Sounds like a much nicer place to be. I mean, maybe not super nice, but nicer than the desolate beach.
Didn't we have someone from the Alouette?
Yes.
Merculia. See, maybe we can get our people here.
Yeah, let's gather everybody together.
Are we good to remove the in-boat cards?
Yep, those cards can all go away.
Okay, so what I'm going to do there is we're going to get rid of those cards.
The one thing we really need to remember is that David Towns is going to lose his foot.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
I feel like Lilas would go to the beach because God will protect her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which means that David Towns is going to the Barabara.
Yeah, they'll be split.
They've had their falling out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So does everybody know about these 2 locations and they've just chosen which to go? We're not trying to line these up with like, oh, this story landed here and this story landed there.
No, I don't think so. I think they all kind of landed at the same time.
And drifted to one of these 2 spots.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that Captain is never again going to let Anne be separated from him.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. And probably cares about her comfort. So I think the 2 of them are in the Barabara.
Yeah.
I like it. And I've got these 2 separated by the skull. So if they're on this side of the skull, it's Barabara. On this side of the skull, it's the beach.
Okay.
Merkuliev, he grew up around here. He's very comfortable in this terrain. So I imagine he's probably on the beach.
Yeah.
I think Kenneth is looking to get away from some of the people he was in the boat with.
Yeah.
So I think I would put him in the beach as well.
That makes sense. And we'll put Brown and Gordon in the Barabara then.
Perfect.
And it's kind of like the return of the crew.
Yeah. And honestly, Holmes is going where the captain's going.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's what a cozy setup we've got. I bet it's kind of weird down on the beach. That's a weird trio. That's cool. Life's good. Shall I draw the first hell card?
Yeah.
Please.
Bring us down.
Bring us home.
Bring us down. Okay. Oh God, this is a rough card, folks. I know who it is. Okay. The custom of the sea. We have no food, and it is the custom of the sea that the majority must eat. Lots are drawn, and I am chosen to sacrifice myself for the greater good. There's nothing noble about it, and I die struggling.
Oh no.
Speak your truth and go to the deep, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Any survivor who refuses to partake of your corpse goes to the deep as well.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Bye-bye, Lilas.
I think Lilas does eat.
Oh, yeah.
I think Lilas could justify it to herself. I have to stay alive. I am.
To spread God's word.
Yeah. I got you here.
So let's just look at these. So first of all,
is it for both locations or is it just for?
No, this is for everybody.
It's for everyone.
This is still a community. There's just sort of two
it.
places you could be, and people can move back and forth quite easily.
Okay.
So here's what I'm imagining happened. The captain said, we've got to eat. We're going to draw straws. We're going to draw lots, and then rigged the outcome.
Oh.
Right? Because Kenneth is useless.
Right.
And it's just, that's how it's got to be. And he wasn't going to let his daughter risk being killed by these people.
Right.
So he rigged the outcome. And the only question is, who among these people would be like, no, I'd rather die. I'd rather die than eat.
Honestly, and I hate to say this, I think Holmes would. I think Holmes. I
can't eat my friends kind of a thing.
Right. And I think that would be exemplified by the fact that he found a rat on the boat.
Yeah.
And worked to keep it alive.
Okay.
I think Holmes is too good of a being to do that.
Oh. Poor Holmes.
I love Holmes.
I do too.
But it makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Is there anybody else? I think that like Anne would protest and then her dad would be like, look.
I think he would make her. Yeah.
And that's the only other one that I think would have a qualm about it. Certainly Gordon he'd be first in line.
Mm-hmm.
Brown would do it. Brown would choke it down. David Towns. Yeah, that's it. Rough.
Yikes.
All right. I draw the next hell card.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else dies?
The dreadful calculus. Hunger beats like a drum and focuses the mind wonderfully. I have eaten my belt, salty and horrid, and was prepared to start on my shoes when a cautionary note sounded in my brain. To lose my shoes would invite the loss of my feet. It is a dreadful calculus. I am so very, very hungry.
I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you have an idea? Go ahead.
I mean, just sticking with the theme of feet. I think this sounds like David.
I was thinking the same thing. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to eat his other. Oh, with the idea that perhaps he can hold on to the crushed foot a little bit longer if it stays in his shoe.
Yeah, he hasn't lost the foot yet, at least by the cards, right? So he just and maybe I think that maybe the shoe has become like a tourniquet.
Yeah.
Or the foot.
Oh, it's all swollen in there. Like you have to get it out of there.
Oh,
and
gross.
He's afraid to see what's underneath.
On top of that, I think the additional calculus to this is that if he takes that shoe off, he's going to show everybody
It's true.
that
It's a
he's
secret.
wounded.
Yeah.
And they just ate a dude.
The only person who knows is like actively avoiding him.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, taking that shoe off is basically volunteering himself to be eaten next.
Next. Mm-hmm.
Tighten your belt, David Towns.
No, he ate it. He can't tighten it.
Yeah.
Turnabout is fair play. We need food, and I was elected Fisher. And Adori, after many hours, my line tensed, and I brought in a great, big, beautiful cod, the largest I have ever seen, easily 50 pounds and very lively. And it somehow knocked me over the gunwale into the ocean. And to no great surprise, I am too weak to save myself.
Oh no!
Speak your truth and go to the depth. Go to the deep. Oh man, I was hoping okay. This is Brown to me. Brown is competent, very good at what he does. And I think this is somebody that Nickerson trusts to handle things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he just, it wasn't a good one for him this go around.
That's so frustrating because that would have been so good for them for so long. He had just made himself back,
Does anybody else have any other ideas of who it could be?
I'm very happy with that choice.
I'm good with Brown.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Brown. Like you're a real one.
I just have to say, from now on, there will be no good choices.
Yeah.
Only bad choices.
Oh man. All right. So we're gonna pull you to the front, Brown. There you go. Let's group you together. Oops, I grabbed too many things.
Then we'll take you down to the deep.
You're
Put
going to the
skull and crossbone on you.
Yep.
All right,
buddy.
All right, let's see what we got here. The egg thief. Above our wretched shelter, vast screaming hordes of gulls, auks, murres, and puffins taunt us. They nest in the cliffs, and those nests contain eggs. I alone have the courage and stamina to make the attempt, and I scale half the cliff like a triumphant goat and eat my fill. There is no practical way down, though, and the fall is the end of me. This seems like a super selfish thing to do because the idea that you could get up there and eat your fill, I think it's Lilas.
Oh, no.
I think she goes because she's hungry. I don't think the idea that she could bring any of it back, I don't think that has anything to do with what she's thinking.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm hungry. I'm going to go up and eat something, and the Lord will protect my path back.
And she walked right by Merkuliev, who is like, don't do that.
Who would have said that is, you can't get back down from there, and
right.
You don't know anything.
Right.
I think Lilas has lived a life filled with David
protecting,
dealing with the repercussions of her actions.
Yes.
And now David is in a position where he can't. I think even now there might be some part of him that wants to find a way to get her down, and it's just not possible.
So you can't. Yeah. And he can't get up there. Yeah. He couldn't go follow her.
Let's move him to the beach, though.
Oh, that he went, that he saw it happening, couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, or that's really beautiful that he came out to say something to her, to apologize, to try to have a rapprochement, and then he watches her fall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I could even see her believing that the puffins were a sign from God.
Right.
Yep.
And
God has provided for us with all of these eggs.
And then you get God,
Yeah.
I haven't enjoyed putting a skull on anybody, but I'm going to enjoy this one.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes Lilas for some reason.
Just like a very selfish. It would be interesting to see a game where Lilas is actually like a really lovely human.
I think you could do it.
Absolutely.
One of the fun things about replaying this is that you can make those kinds of choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people are just who we made them to be.
Right. We just decided that Lilas was the worst.
The what?
I mean, she's kind of written that way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Whose draw is it? Is it Sarah's draw?
No, I just drew that one.
It's
so
me.
it's you.
Great. Uh-oh. Dry throats. It is May in the
Shumigans.
Oh, this is Anne. It's May in the Shumigans, and water should be the least of our concerns, but nature has been perverse and it refuses to rain. I am so very thirsty and so very weak. I wrung some muddy silt out of a tuft of lime grass, but the effort exhausted me and it was undrinkable. I'm going to die here eventually. Yeah, imagine I'm going to put her down on the beach now.
Yeah.
She's at the end of her rope. And she doesn't want it.
Is she regretting, like, I should have listened to my mother? I could have been like someone's wife right now being taken care of. Why didn't I just?
Yep.
That's rough, man.
She probably blames her dad. She's angry at her dad.
Yeah.
She's a teenager,
right.
Of course she's going to blame her dad too.
But like being angry, it takes too much energy. So it's hard for her to contain, like to continue the anger.
Yep. That was probably Merculia who showed her how to suck water out of lime grass.
Yeah.
Okay, my secret. I have a corrupted wound, and I've hidden it as long as I was able. But now it has gone black and foul, and the limb must come off. The thing must be done with a cod knife, and I suppose I will live through it. Well, I think we all know who.
Yeah.
This card has been waiting for you.
It's been waiting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or Peter, you could surprise us all. More than one person could have been hurt.
No, I think I'm kind of in a macabre sort of way. I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah. And that really was a very Chekhov's gun kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thinking about that injury a long time.
Yeah, I think it was, and then the death of his wife, he just didn't have, it really compromised his spirit, the ability to go on. It's taking care of her has been what has been fueling him for so long. He's
called it his purpose.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
So we have 5 survivors right now.
Yeah.
You had to go and say something, didn't you?
Oh, no.
Heroics. If we are to be saved, it will not be God or another ship who does it. So I gather what I can and load the best story, and I am off to the rescue before anyone can object. Sadly, even our best story proves itself less than seaworthy, and now I am splashing like a seal to no good end. Sharks are very abundant in the Shumigan waters.
Oh.
Speak your truth and go to the deep. I know who I want this to be.
Go ahead.
It is going to seem like we're picking on this guy, but I want this to be David.
Oh, interesting. The idea, this is all I can do this now.
I think that David is so used to fixing things that he realizes he's on his last legs. And
just one.
His last leg.
I didn't mean to do that. But I think that, he kind of saw at the end of it all the kind of person that his wife was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think David has always wanted to do good. He was just kind of led astray, and this is the one chance to let me actually do this right.
So pathetic.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. That's an unexpected turn. I was like, the captain might do that, or Gordon might do that, but no, I love it because it's deeply ignorant. In a really sad way.
Yeah.
From someone who doesn't know. And it's perfect. Love it.
All right.
But sorry, David, your time has come, buddy. You're going to the deep.
All right. A baptism. Someone takes absolute leave of their senses. I watch as if removed from the scene as they strip off every shred of clothing and immerse themselves in the Pacific surf, raving about being baptized anew. I could have interceded. Send someone to the deep and speak your truth. Okay. Well, I think that this is Captain Nickerson talking about Anne.
Oh no.
Oh.
How could you?
Yeah. But I mean, I think like it was too much for her. She couldn't, like, she's just been watching all of these people die. And I think she just like couldn't do it anymore. And so I think he like came upon her at the very end and didn't get her out in time.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could have interceded, like that's super
well,
rough.
and I think he would blame himself and like, I should have kept a closer eye on her and I should have checked in more. I was trying to manage everything and I didn't manage it as well as I could have. So,
right.
I mean, one of the things we talked about at the top was like, he can't let himself show the worry.
Yeah.
And I think that
probably weighed very heavily on her.
Yeah, that might have been what did her in at the end.
Wow. Oh, interesting. Okay. The next card is. Okay. Someone is preaching now. This is Captain Nickerson.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is preaching now on the topic of Paul and his shipwreck, and it is loathsome to my ears. I cannot bear it. I curse the sound of it. I curse God and all gods. I shake my sword-covered fists at a sky that never darkens. I will die with venom on my lips, or I will silence that preacher forever.
Mm-hmm.
Speak your truth and send someone to the deep, or go yourself. I think
go yourself.
Go yourself. Yeah. What I'm imagining is like in the miserable Barabara, it's him and Gordon is out of liquor, and just starts rambling. His brain is rotten. He's starving and gone mad. He starts preaching, and Captain Nickerson, who just watched his daughter die, he can't do it. He picks up a rock and it just ends Gordon. Just beats him down. That's what happens in the Barabara.
We are down to the captain and the first mate.
That's right. And it's not guaranteed that anyone will survive this game.
I'd like to mention these are the two that knew earliest on that something was wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember something about him. Just this final moment, I think I need a little rememory here, a little debrief here. I don't belong there anymore. I belong in San Francisco.
There's something really poetic about him just kind of sitting on the beach where he doesn't belong.
Where he doesn't.
Does.
Where he started, but doesn't belong anymore. Yeah.
All right.
He's just watched a bunch of fools die.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
And at least a lot of them were preventable.
Right.
Okay. Butter clams. Someone who knows better told me not to eat the butter clams I dug up. Said they were poison, but I was too hungry to listen. I ate them all up raw, and now I'm wearing them like a filthy apron and coughing up blood. And I can't talk right, and my vision is fading. I can't even remember my name or why I'm here. Well, I think because it was somebody more experienced that would have been the captain who told him not to eat them. and he seems more likely to ignore that advice than the captain, I think.
So Merkuliev is going down.
Yeah.
It's the captain on his
I
own.
got it.
He's just stuck all by himself.
He is.
We'll see if he makes it out, but I also kind of
All right.
I
Here we go.
could absolutely see him surviving and that being a worse.
Yeah, right at this
Thing.
point. Oh, God.
Regrets. Wow.
Oh man.
I hear a groan. It is the moaning of the damned in hell. The Isabel had bad seasons in 86 and 87, and her owner neglected her maintenance. The signs were everywhere. She was a leaky ship, and she groaned in misery when worked by contrary seas. She is groaning right now, and it fills my head until I scream.
Oof.
We know who gets that card.
Yeah, feels correct.
It really does, doesn't it?
And it's also, I think, somebody established early on that he knew that there was a problem with the ship.
Yep,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's perfect.
it really does.
All right. Is there another one to draw? Let's
I
see.
believe, yeah,
There is.
A lady. Off the beach, I see a sight. It is an Alouette in a baldarks, and remarkably, it is a woman who is nursing a child. I gesture to her, "Do you have any food?" and wade into the water. She paddles away in her graceful little skin boat. Perhaps she will alert someone. Perhaps I imagined her. All right, well. So I think Captain Nickerson is losing it. 100%. Like, I think he's just.
Or he at least thinks he is.
I mean, that's so good because the very
Yeah.
next card is Salvation.
Salvation. I think he thinks he's going nuts.
So, like, yeah, he walked down to the edge of the water. He saw this apparition, and then he walked back to the Barabara.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Salvation. The schooner Albatross appears, and the beach is soon swarming with her cod dories. Survivors, speak your truth.
Oh,
So, there is, man, I almost wish it was, what was his name?
Merkuliev.
that survived, because being the apparition of the Alouette woman and then Salvation feels like
mm-hmm.
that would have been very sweet, but for
like,
Captain Nickerson,
it's so tortured now. As
Yeah,
like,
I know.
if they had only held out a little while longer.
Right. No, it's good that it's him. That like bookends it in such a good way.
Yeah.
Because this game started with him being like, "This is a bad idea. I'm making a mistake."
Mm-hmm.
And then 11 dead people, including his daughter, later.
Yeah.
He's back on a ship. Right.
I think it's very spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
That it's very spooky that it was a woman breastfeeding that he saw,
With the idea
And
that he's got a baby at home.
and he's got a child. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of feels like even though he went through this hell, there's still a point for him to keep pushing,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is very traumatic and terrifying and very sad.
Yeah.
And that's how the game ends.
That's a
Wow.
good story. That's a
It really
good
was.
and sad story.
Very sad
man.
story.
And we really threaded that needle. Like we can talk about sort of inside baseball stuff about how the cards are distributed and so forth. But I was really happy with the way that it sort of molded itself into a form that I thought was very poetic and sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the kind of thing where you can have your own, like in my head, I like to imagine that I'd like to imagine that lady was real and that she was the one that brought the schooner.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that she even checked out that area is because David.
Oh yeah.
that he had gotten far enough that
they found
had
their body or something.
seen him.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So in a way, he did save. He was the hero.
Yeah, I like to put positive spins on things. So that's like in my head, that's how I interpret the story, which is this guy who spends his entire life under the heel and foot of like a false prophet, like has a turn at the very end and is able to save this guy. So man, it was rough and going out that would hit hard.
Yeah, but I think like as hard as that was, I think that card, it made the most sense for it to have been her.
I think I love everybody's choices. Like and that's the thing. Like there are no good choices.
No.
There are no good choices.
But there also are no bad choices. Like,
right.
Like,
they all lead to amazing stories one way or another. It's just woo.
Yeah. And in the movie version, I'm imagining there was a scene where the Alouette woman finds David's body and it's just this scene of this woman comes by and finds this body and then that's all there is to that scene, and later she shows up on the shore.
Right.
Yeah.
And it helps the audience tie it all together.
Mm-hmm.
I think this actually leads us into let's do our moments of gratitude then of what choices or things that happened during the game really stood out to you.
I was so pleased at the really strong decisions that y'all were making that were surprising. Like the death of Lilas was a really, really well-considered and perfectly timed choice. That was cool. And the death of Anne was the same way, right? Like it was unexpected for me because I wanted to protect those characters and they should not have been protected. It was perfect. So I think that was Noir and Sarah. Thank you for making those excellent choices at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm really impressed by how much. Like when we were first had this interview, I was wondering like, I love role playing games because I get attached to characters, and I'm like, if you're not really playing the role, how efficient will this game be at getting you emotionally tethered to these people? And the answer is
good.
It's very good at
it.
It's like it is very good at it in a way that I did not at all expect. Like I think we all felt something for Holmes. Like
right.
And like it sucks for him to die, but he died a good dude. And like
he did, yeah.
in this, that's kind of
it's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Like every time we sent somebody to the deep and there was it elicited like oh, I liked him kind of moment. Like, we were all doing it. We were all like feeling it together of like, yeah, no, this is the correct way, but man, that sucks. Like, it was very cool.
I'll do a gratitude to Sarah for kind of going off brand a little bit on this voyage with us.
Yeah.
And, having my good friend Jason on to run a game.
Yeah,
I just like telling stories. I just, generally they're pinker and fluffier, but this was such a cool journey to take. And it really was a very satisfying story to tell by the time we got to the end of it.
Yeah, like I again, it's in role playings, you very rarely get moments to have like that heroic sacrifice, and you can get that in this in a very quick amount of time.
You really can.
Like,
and multiple times.
Yeah, and that hits, man. That hits hard. Because, like you said, there's no guarantee that anybody makes it out. So the fact that somebody made it out, that is a victory.
Yeah.
This dude's gonna need all the therapy.
So much.
Every little bit of therapy.
Well, and at that time, probably not.
Yeah, this therapy is going to be whiskey.
Yeah. Or like just a straight up asylum, probably at that point.
Yeah.
Jason, tell us a little bit about the crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So we're crowdfunding this game and its companion game, which is called Dead House, set in the same time, but during a blizzard in Kansas. So you get both of these experiences. They use the same rules engine, which is the Desperation engine. We're crowdfunding it on GameFound right now for another couple of weeks. And the campaign's doing good. And we would love your support. And if you're interested in, you, the viewer, are interested in a pick up and play game that evokes these kind of intense emotional attachments and creates very compelling stories with role players or non-role players alike, I encourage you to check out the campaign and support us if it seems like it's up your alley.
I would definitely suggest, but before we started, we were chatting before we started the stream. We definitely went over everybody's, so we did a very thorough safety discussion and how are we going to handle things and what will happen if we venture into territories that we are uncomfortable with, but didn't realize we would be uncomfortable with. Please make sure that when you are playing this game, that you take that time at the beginning. And there is part of the resources as part of this game is that there's a list that all the cards, it tells you what sort of they deal with so that because it's sort of scalable, right, Jason, that you can take things out.
Yeah. The cards are numbered and there's a content warning list that tells you which cards you'd want to remove or you'd want to review if you're concerned about particular issues. And the game scales because if you take out more than 8 of those cards, that's telling you should play a different game.
Right.
And it won't function as intended. I thought very carefully about safety. The other thing I want to point out is that sort of early in the game, I kind of stopped us and was like, hey, here's a character and we need to make sure we understand how we're going to deal with her. Let's calibrate around this in a very explicit way we can all buy into. And I would encourage you for games like this and this game in particular to do that. There's no harm in stopping in the moment and being like, let's check in and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah. And we had the option, we could have removed Anne from the game, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt anything. In fact, the last game I played, we removed Lilas. And she's a colorful, interesting person, but they're all colorful, interesting people. So losing one isn't going to break the game.
And I think it's really interesting with this because you can do a lot of, as you were saying earlier, you can do a lot of replay with this and you can make fully different choices for each character that comes up. And it will definitely affect the game. It will.
The distribution of cards, because you're removing some as part of tuning the deck before you play. So there'll be new cards that surprise you, as well as the sequence in which they're revealed will be totally different. Every game is different. The characters turn out differently, and you can even choose that. We were talking about how often Lilas is a villain, but you could make her not a villain, and that would be a really fun playthrough.
Yeah. The idea of just having her be really earnest and a true believer in a very sweet, innocent kind of way would absolutely change interactions with her.
Right.
Cool.
What were you saying, Noir?
No, I was just saying, what if she really is chosen by some divine power?
Be wild.
I am all in for this game. I can already imagine the expansions you could do with this. This is really good, man.
And we're gonna have a real sort of liberal licensing policy so that people can create their own versions of it. I'm excited. I want to talk to you about what you imagined for it, because we've got plans if the campaign's a success. But people have come up with some really interesting, thoughtful ideas that have different tones too. So Jen Martin, when she first played this, she said, I want to do a Regency experience with this, where it's not about death, but it's about finding the right partners or being rejected in a romantic competition in a sort of Austen mode.
Yeah.
And you can see how the structure would totally work for that.
Absolutely.
And would have high stakes, not necessarily in the I might die if, but if you were like cast out of society,
Right.
you could, your fortune would be gone and you might as well not be alive anymore, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That'd be a really interesting way of doing that.
So I'm excited to see.
I could see it working for like a siege,
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Munziger 1244.
Yeah.
That kind of a story where there's going to be attrition. And the question is not only who survives, but whether the thing that you're trying to defend survives. Yeah, totally. Yep. I have, would be great for a slasher movie kind of setup. I mean, that's an obvious one. I've already got that one written. Lots of ideas for these.
Yeah. Very cool.
Excellent. Well done, Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'm really
incredible.
glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll tell your friends and support us. Going leaving Kickstarter and going to GameFound it's a real calculated risk at this point.
Yeah.
Since it's a smaller platform and there's a barrier to participating in that. You have to have a new account and whatever if you're not already a GameFound customer. So we thought that was the right choice. And if you agree, then come support people doing cool stuff on GameFound.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to go around the table and let everybody know where we can be found on the interwebs so you can follow all of these delightful folk and all of their platforms. So I'm going to start with Peter.
I can be found my personal Facebook page, Peter Adkison on Facebook. That's my only personal social media. I'm also very heavily involved with Chaldea and Aktaroki. So at World of Chaldea is only one step away from me. I'm also on Table Takes on Gen Con TV, the Gen Con's Twitch channel, Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Wonderful. What about you, Noir?
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Noir. He, they. You can find me all over the internet as the Noir Enigma, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I am a host on Table Takes TV with Peter here on Gen Con TV. I am the community manager for Evil Genius Games Productions. Our Kickstarter has just gone live this week for Everyday Heroes. So check it out and make me look good in front of my boss, please. Thank you.
On it. And how about you, Jason? Where can we find you?
You can find me, probably the best place to follow my work is either on our Patreon or at bullypulpit_HQ on all the various social medias. And I am at JM Star as well. So that's probably the place to track me down.
Wonderful. Please go and check out this game. It is one that I think you'll have a good time with. It makes you think. It makes you feel stuff. It's important. So pick it up, back it, play it with your friends. And then, let us know how it goes. You can tweet us and tell us how it went. My name is Sarah Moore. You can find me on Facebook at Actor Sarah Moore. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Ko-Fi and TikTok at Pixies and Pins. You can find me here every Friday on twitch.tv/GenConTV at 5 p.m. Pacific for Sarah's Table. Next week, we are going to be playing Cupcake Witches. It is going to be a lot more of a lift. So if you are looking for joy and giggles, come back here next Friday. And if you're looking for more like real serious stuff, just like rewatch this episode. It's going to be up real soon tomorrow on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for being at my table today. It was such a joy and a treat to have you here. I want to thank my editor, Jeff, for helping me figure out how to put up a Roll20 feed on this particular one because we've never used it before. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
I would like to thank everybody at home for watching. It is such a happy time for me whenever anybody can sit at my table. Also, if you are in the Chicago area, you should head over to Grindhouse Cafe because they have a Sarah's Table themed drink special called #JoyfulGaming, and it is a tea latte and it's super tasty. So go get that and go play some games with some people. So as always, keep making art and keep being art. We will see you next time. Mwah.